There are so many interesting, horrifying, or downright weird things in this big world of ours.
Each week, we'll bring you a new true crime story that has little to no coverage in English.
Let us do the translations so you don't have to.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Petra. Welcome to the podcast, Translation Murder. Again. This time it's my turn. And we are going back to Japan.
Yeah. Woohoo.
As last time I gave you the hint that this is what kind of hint did I give? This is a workplace
Occupational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Occupational murder.
But so this happens in a place of occupation and also a place where people live. So it's a nursing home in Kawasaki City, Kanagawa Prefecture. Just shortly, Kawasaki City is on border of Tokyo. It has 1.5 million people living there, and it's very convenient place for anyone commuting to Tokyo. So I don't know if you can call it bed town, but anyway, town with commuters to the metropolitan. And there is a nursing home for elderly called Amiyu Kawasaki Sawaicho, which is a really weird name for a nursing home, in my opinion. Like S, the letter S, and Amiyu, which apparently comes from the French words ami for friend and famille or family. So like friends and family. This is the nursing home where you want to be.
It seems
And the
weird.
rest,
Are they trying to be like hoity-toity? Like, ooh, everybody loves French, respects the French language, so let's do this in Japan? Like,
yeah. I mean, Japanese, they have this romantic image of French language, so they do like to put it in weird places like product names and stuff. So it's not a surprising thing, but I just thought it's really weird that they kind of combined two different French words there.
Yeah. And what is the S for? We don't know.
It is just a type. I kind of looked into it, and they have different types of nursing homes, like based on what kind of services they provide. And they were like M and S, but I don't really. I think it used to be something. They have the word silver care, so like silver care.
yeah, so it's
Silver
like
just means
elderly care.
elderly.
Yeah.
So I think
Okay.
that was the meaning behind the S there. And it's in Kawasaki, in a district called Saiwai-cho. Saiwai means like fortunate in Japanese, so it's the fortunate village of Kawasaki, which is maybe a bit ironic for after you hear what happened here. So the nursing home is run by a private company. It's fee-based nursing home, so you have to pay for yourself. It's not covered by the public funding, and it's meant for elderly people who need intensive, or is it called intensive care? But not intensive care, but like care for everything daily, like going to toilet, bathing, eating. It's the year 2014. On 4th November, a male resident, 87 years old, is found dead in the backyard of the nursing home. The death is caused by a fall. There is a balcony, so you can figure out that he has fallen from the balcony to the ground. There's no eyewitnesses who would have seen what happened. Anyway, he's dead on the ground. Shortly after, 9th December, a female resident, 86 years old, is also found dead in the backyard. And again, the death is caused by a fall, and no one has seen what happened. Then again, on 31st December, another female resident, 96 years old, is found dead. And everything is same as above, as I just said. So she has fallen to the backyard ground from the balcony.
Is it the
Either
same
they're having
balcony?
yeah, like
From the same balcony, or everyone from their own room?
I couldn't find really that detail. Like, was it the
Okay.
exact same spot or slightly different? But anyway, it said backyard, so I suppose it's still the same yard.
yeah, I just was thinking that I don't think a falling epidemic is a thing, so it seems like there's a pattern here that is a bit nefarious, like they're all kind of 87, 86, and 96. That's kind of, can be a bit frail. So,
So,
but I don't want to ask too many questions now because I think you're gonna have more details, but I already have plenty of questions.
okay, yeah.
But, yeah, let's just continue.
Yeah. So, first, police officers, of course, start to investigate the reason for the death. They come from the local police station, and they indeed find the deaths suspicious. Of course, like, they can't rule out the possibility of suicide. It's not like elderly people do commit suicide sometimes. It's not an uncommon thing. And or even accident. However, there is an issue that all the deaths are first investigated as separate cases. So when the nursing home reports the police that, okay, someone was found dead, we don't know why, the police officer comes, investigates. And the second one, another police officer comes, opens another case. So they are investigated separately. And they have lack of communication within the police. So it ended up taking quite a lot of time before the Kanagawa Prefectural Police realizes that, oh, we actually need the major crime unit here. Like, this is not something the local police officers should be investigating alone. I don't know if the translation major crime unit is good in English. Like, in Japanese, it's called Sousaichika, which is just investigation department number 1. But this is a common term in Japan that means basically the department that investigates like murders, violence, robberies, that type of crime. So, like, I don't know what you...
Maybe like violent crime or something would be the translation in English, like violent crime unit or something like that. Or
yeah, I don't know if it has to be violent, but like kind of serious crime.
Yeah. But okay.
Basically, it's always, for each of these cases, it was a separate police officer who went to the scene, and then they just somehow didn't communicate within the police.
Yeah, like each one of them apparently did find it suspicious, but somehow they missed the part where they actually let the higher ups know that, hey, this is weird. I don't know if they talked with each other or like what was the underlying issue, but it wasn't well organized. So it wasn't until May 2015, so over 5 months after the deaths happened, that the serious crime department, or whatever you want to call it, starts to get involved. And what happens also in May 2015 is that there's a night shift nurse, a paramedic by education, called Hayato Imai, 23 years old at the time, who's working in the nursing home in night shift, as mentioned. And he is arrested for stealing residents' wallets. And soon, a couple of months later, in September, he gets sentenced 4-year probation for a total 19 thefts, although he does not confess doing them. And in the meanwhile, the Kanagawa Prefecture police has now developed a better system to organize all the suspicious cases that have happened in this particular nursing home. So they actually start to somehow organize, like, okay, because there was also 19 thefts by a nurse in the same nursing home. So I guess the police is like, okay, maybe we should actually make this nursing home a fucking project. Like, there's something going on.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that initially they just didn't think this was such a high priority case because these were elderly people. So they thought, okay, it could be an accident. I don't know. And then just took them a while until it became suspicious enough.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'm also wondering if there was maybe some, not pressure, but just kind of a covering up also of the private elderly home too. Because I mean, if you have to pay to be there and probably quite a lot of money, you don't want it getting out that, hey, yeah, we hire criminals that steal your money. Oh, and then also kill you possibly by pushing you over the balcony. So
Yeah, but they did call the
maybe
police
there was like a
immediately.
lack of communication with the police too.
Yeah. I mean, the nursing home was the one that initially did report this. I mean, they can't just cover like, oh, there's a body, la 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 la. So of course,
Yeah, I mean the body part, but
yeah.
Still.
But like, have they been actually reporting everything that happens in the nursing home?
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, actually, this is a good thing that you brought up because this year for the nursing home things are going south very badly. In December, 3 members of the staff, like not this thief nurse, but 3 different members of the staff are prosecuted for using violence against the residents. It didn't state what kind of, but I don't know, hitting, something like not deadly things, but violence. And 2 of them are released from the charges, and 1 is found guilty. And this playing a big part of it, but on 21st December, the nursing home is suspended from being eligible of billing any of the residents for the next 3 months. So this is kind of like this governmental type of punishment, like, okay, get your shit together. You can't ask money from the residents because you are not. I mean, there are laws in Japan how you should run a nursing home, even if it's a private one.
Yeah, it's good. I think that's, I mean, maybe not enough punishment, but yeah, that's at least something, right?
It's not only the police, but also the kind of governmental people who get a bit suspicious of this nursing home. And well, I didn't get in too deep into this, but apparently there were other cases of violence in other nursing homes owned by the same company. So
Okay.
maybe
Sounds
they
like a
are
systemic issue, like not doing proper background checks or something like that on their people, or I don't know.
Yeah, or like really bad management. I don't know.
Yeah.
And of course, Japan has the same issue as many modern countries that there's a lot of elderly people and not enough people to take care of them. So I guess there's not enough stuff to kind of like, okay, if you want to work here, just come, you're hired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Might be the situation. Okay, then the next thing that happens is that in January 2016, the thief nurse, who was, of course, he's not working there anymore, but who was sentenced for the thefts of residents' wallets, is called for questioning in the local police station. Apparently, there are several hearings, and then suddenly, on 15th February, he confesses committing the 3 murders. So pushing the residents from the balcony. And naturally, he is arrested. Apart from his confession, the circumstantial evidence was the fact that, well, he was the only one working in the night shift. So at least he was
That's pretty good
there.
evidence.
Yes. And also, one thing to mention is that the balcony fence was 120 centimeters high, and the elderly people were quite small, like 150 to 160, because Japanese elderly are often very small. Like, I mean, I guess grannies are small in any country, but in Japan they are often very small. So just physically, it would have been really hard for fragile, small, elder people to get over the fence by themselves. So that kind of pointed to the fact that someone did it.
Yeah, and there was no
Was there
chair
any?
or something
Yeah,
in the fence.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, well,
There was no like chair or whatever next to the balcony, like next to the fence that they could have climbed up on to get. So like there was no sign of any kind of aid. So there had to be another person who,
yeah, there was some kind of chair in
like
one
a
of the
stool or something.
residents' place or like near the balcony, but I don't know if it was what kind of chair it was to like, or would it be even then possible for the like how fragile they were.
Mm. And I mean, there was no tampering with like the balcony or something like that, because this case kind of came to mind. This like Pamela Hupp case where she, I don't know if you've heard of it, but she ended up like murdering her friend for life insurance policy, and then after the investigation, like, her mother kind of died of like questionable circumstances, that, she had just visited the mother in a nursing home, and then she also fell to her death from a balcony, and then the railing was a bit loose or something, but yeah, they kind of suspected her with the murder of her mother. So it kind of reminds me like balcony, nursing home, elderly person, and then some nefarious like gain, monetary gain somehow. So
Yeah, I don't know that case, but I remembered another one, and I only vaguely remember some details. But in that one, I think what kind of gave it away that it wasn't an accident is that the body was found in kind of a weird position. It could not really have been an accident, so it was kind of staged. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't really remember the
yeah.
details, but yeah.
I mean, there's also quite many like cases as well where you can kind of see if a body has been, pushed or thrown, or like the jumping aspect or whatever, like the trajectory of the body falling off of the actual balcony and whatnot, then you can kind of tell like, okay, someone was definitely pushed, or, or thrown, or they were able to jump that far or something. So yeah, I wonder if they used that in the investigation as well.
Well, one I don't know if how much they analyzed the position, but one thing worth mentioning is that they did not do the forensic investigation because it took them too long to realize that this should be actually investigated as a crime case. So the bodies were, you know, buried, or
Mhm.
what's the word? What do? You don't say you burned.
Yeah.
Crematized.
Cremated.
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 Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
bodies were cremated
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you usually
Fuck.
do. So
Yeah, because I mean, if it would not have been the case, they could have looked at some other like signs of physical abuse
yeah,
or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
this is actually
Definitely looks like.
interesting detail
Oh,
because in Finland, you have to do the forensic, like check the body, even if there's no suspicion of crime. If it's not like really clear case, like okay, this person was in hospital and now they died because of cancer or something.
Mhm.
But in Japan, it's like okay, if police suspect something, then they do it, but otherwise don't. Which is probably
that
there
seems
are
like
lots of
dropping the ball.
yeah. I think there are lots of cases in Japan that are actually homicides, but never get realized to be one. But that's another topic, maybe. So
That's just a pity because like so many things they could have searched for. Drugs in the system, bruising or something,
yeah.
or just position of body, like you said, or fuck.
I'm kind of sorry that I always bring up these cases where it seems that the police of Japan
Yeah.
is not very competent, but it also makes me wonder, is the police of Japan very competent?
No, but that's the thing. I'm just like the last fucking case in Japan. Was it the last one in Japan? Yeah, the doctor. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, didn't do the fucking autopsy correct and
Yeah.
and thought it was
I just don't
suicide and
understand how in this case, like how, like I understand that maybe it was different police officers who went out to each of these
Yeah. I think
accidents.
in this case it was. I kind of understood it better, like this human error that can
Yeah, but still, like how
happen.
come
But
there's no something in their system when they record these cases that kind of flags this, that okay, this is actually the same exact building, like the same exact establishment where this other case happened, even if it's
well,
not investigated by the same person.
you would be surprised if you knew how non-digitalized Japan is, like how
Okay.
their systems is so paper.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
explains it, I guess.
And this is
but
2014, so even worse than nowadays.
but the thing is you said that each of the cops themselves, like on separate occasions when they went, they still found it suspicious. So why didn't they just, let's actually investigate this each separately, like under an investigation. So what did the police actually fucking do? They did no investigation separately. They just went, yep, someone's dead. That is indeed a dead body I see on the ground there, and it is an elderly person. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Take the body, and that's it. Like, so there was no investigation at all.
And then the other thing, which kind of makes me think that is it really so that the nursing home didn't want to get into like too much trouble because of this? Because like, okay, sure, like the police doesn't notice or doesn't realize that these are connected, but maybe like, okay, like after the second case, but at least after the third one, shouldn't the nursing home have like contacted the police again that, hey guys, don't you think that there might be something going on here? Because this is our third
Yeah.
Yes.
But then
balcony
again,
And that also,
maybe
accident.
yeah. No,
maybe
but
the
that was
nursing
bringing
home.
to my
Sorry.
mind. No, that was sorry, fucking hell. That was bringing to my mind that like, yeah, why didn't they? They probably also didn't want to like, well, actually, do your investigation for you, and that we've had 3 deaths in the last 2 months or whatever, and or no, yeah, it was like even less than 2 months, right? November to
Yeah.
December 31st. But so we've had 3 of these happening under really similar circumstances, but we don't want to tell you guys what to do because we're still getting money from these people.
I mean, probably, yeah. But then again,
Fucking Christ.
I guess like they report the police third time. Maybe they also expect like, hey, police, like do your work. But
Yeah. Yeah, just kind of weird overall. Or the families. I don't know if they any of the elderly people's families heard about this from their relative that, oh, like it's now the third balcony accident, and then they didn't contact. I don't know if they heard about it, but it's just surprising that no one was ringing any bells there earlier than 5 months after the third one happened.
Yep. I agree.
Or actually, maybe even more than 5 months, right?
like how did it happen? Just like whoops after 5 months, or like what was the process that they actually officially
Yeah,
started investigating it in the
true.
serious crime unit? But yeah.
So I'm curious what happened between January of 2016 to February. Like, why did this nurse ended up confessing? Like, what made him confess to the murders?
Well, this is a good question, and the story that doesn't end yet. I mean,
Okay, cool.
I know that it sounded like it ended already.
Yeah, you
But
kind of yeah, it sounded like it indeed. I was like, well, this is shitty. Thanks again, Petra. Shitty cops. Like, maybe someone who did it, but probably didn't do it for some fucking reason. Thanks, Petra. Thanks for bringing us all the way to Japan and letting us down again. No, but really, no.
I mean, I'm not sure if it will get any better from this, but there's still something to add to the story, which is that okay, so this guy has confessed. So all the official charges, prosecutors do their job and blah blah blah, and then it's finally the 6th November 2017. And everything's ready. It's time for the pre-trial proceedings. And during those, Hayato Imao announces that actually I do not remember anything from the time the deaths happened. And then they're like, okay, wait, what? Is this your official statement? And then he's like, no, actually, I do remember, but I did not commit the murders. I can just imagine like prosecutors and police, they're just like, because like someone who has confesses, there's nothing, conflicting his confess. That would be the easiest trial ever. But nope. There will be lots of trials and they are not easy because, then the defense, of course, appeals that the original confessions was not reliable. It was the police who kind of dug it out from him. But the prosecutor...
Yeah, I was going to say, coerced confession. Yeah.
Which is not uncommon in Japan. There has been actual cases of these that, they just get it out and someone gets sent to jail because they were just too panicked by the police. But that can be another case. Yeah, do not get
arrested in Japan. Yeah, no crimes
or
in Japan.
Kind of anywhere. I don't know. I think it's I don't know how typical it is in every country, but there are plenty of these cases.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I don't remember, was it Netflix, but anyway, like a documentary about Iceland. Like there was this murder cases and their coerced confessions, and so
there's also this series on Netflix. I think it's called Confession Tapes or something like that, and there are several of these types of cases there.
So it's not uncommon to happen anywhere, I guess. But in this, because I guess it has happened in Japan, they are maybe more careful about it nowadays. So the prosecutor points out that there is both audio and video recording of the confession, so everyone can check like how the police is acting there, and they don't deem that they were like really making the pressure for confession. So the prosecutor says that this is not the likely reason why he confesses. And then defense tries also the insanity defense that, okay, this guy has amnesia. We can't, But yeah, of course, this gets lots of media attention. There's interviews from his like acquaintances, friends, and as always, like, I would have never thought he would commit a murder. He was a paramedic, and people were kind of thinking, cool, you do this nursing, and he was a nice guy, but indeed had a tendency to make up things, like lying
Mhm.
and bragging out, and
Mm.
that kind of.
I mean,
So
that's seems like a common thing for a lot of these, these doctor deaths and these people in like the medical fields that do end up, using their power, to do some crime. It's like they usually have an ego, and then they also like, want to be better than other people, and then also heavily into lying. That's like at least the
But
things
what
that
was
I've
the
seen
case
in
here? What
maybe he
happened here?
also
Like, what was the motive?
yeah,
I'm just kind of wondering because there were these thefts as well, but it could.
yeah.
But I don't think like financial gain would explain the murders.
But I'm just
yeah.
thinking maybe he got caught, like, stealing, and then he didn't want
Mhm.
the elderly
Mm.
people to report him or something, and then
Hmm,
he killed them.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I was
that's
thinking
possible.
immediately, but
Yeah, that's actually possible now that we think that he committed 19 wallet thefts. That sounds like he's
yeah.
basically just stealing everyone's wallets that he notices existing.
Mm, yeah.
But
And then
also,
maybe
yeah,
did they say, like, who actually caught him this time around? Was it did, like, one of his superiors catch on to something, and then that's why he didn't kill, one of his coworkers? Or was it another elderly person who caught on and was like caught him in the act or something, and then he didn't get to kill this elderly person before they,
I didn't actually
reported on
find that
him?
much information about the wallet theft
Mm,
details. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Mm,
Uh, but yeah, the motivation that the police or the prosecutor had kind of suggested was just this stress out from work, which is quite common, I think, in nursing. There's lots of over hours. He was doing night shifts, like, yeah, burnout. But then again, like, burnout, then leave. Don't start killing
mm.
the residents. That I don't know how good explanation of motive that is, but I think
I
that
don't
was
think
what
it's
they
very
had
good.
written in the
I don't think it's good
prosecutors.
either.
No,
No.
like I think burnout or depression, like maybe sort of self-harm would be a more common reaction, sort of, not like murdering someone else or
Yeah,
multiple
Yes.
yeah.
people.
Yes. Yeah.
And then in some of his interviews, like to the media, he said like, okay, I've lost my family members. I think his sister had died at least. So I chose this job, kind of be there for the people who are going to die soon and like take care of them. So at least he wanted to show himself as this person with empathy and,
Interesting.
tendency for nursing.
Which would be believable otherwise if he wouldn't have
Yeah.
murdered 3 people.
Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
assuming that he did.
yeah. But anyway, the courts, there's lots of courts. I don't want to go to all the details. They are not that interesting. But in his final court statement, he states that I just wanted to get out from the police hearings, and thus I gave a false confession. But in court, have been speaking only the truth.
Okay,
However,
so
Okay.
yeah. So
yeah,
he
okay, go
never
on.
confesses again. Like
Mhm.
his only confession is at the time of the police hearing in 2016. But then again, I think it's interesting that after that, it takes him over 1.5 years before he says that actually he didn't do it. So he has been just quiet during that
I don't know,
time?
like
And no.
maybe because it could be that he then kept saying it afterwards immediately that it was not the case, but then that was just the first time when it became public that he,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
not sure.
So then there was no confession, and they sentenced him based on the fact that he was the only person working. He was the only person during the night shift present during that time when those three people died. Or was
So
there any other
basically,
evidence?
22nd March 2018, he is handed down the verdict of being guilty to the three
Mhm.
murders. And the evidence is basically his initial confession, the fact that he was the only one in the night shift, and that the elderly people couldn't have jumped on their own. He gets death sentence for three
Oh,
murders.
okay.
Wow.
And there's, of course, several rounds of appeals, but last year, 11th May 2023, the sentence becomes final. So there's no more appeal rounds.
Mhm.
I mean, he's still alive. The death sentences
Yeah.
are usually not that fast to be actually implemented, but there he is in death row.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
I don't
just
know. It's interesting. Hmm. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just also questioning, really, was he the only one on the premises?
Yeah.
Like,
I think, yeah, like that would be kind of good evidence if there was also something else supporting this and not just that one
yeah,
confession. Because
Yeah.
now it's like a little bit questionable. Like, can they really confirm that there was no one else there?
yeah, like if there's a key card situation where you need to like, clock in, use it to enter a person's door, that would make the most sense. Okay, this person used their key card to enter the person's door at this time and then they died that
Yeah.
night. Okay, that would be decent enough evidence on, and then assuming that you have a camera of him, in the hallway going into the room at that time, like that would be signed and sealed. The guy's fucking guilty. But no one being at one of these
Or
facilities at
could it have
all.
been another elderly person who's maybe not that old and like more
That's what I
physically
mean. Like
capable?
it could be
Mm.
someone, yeah, from within. Like there
Another
has to be
resident.
someone. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, why? Why not? Like, could have been like, I don't know, someone suffering from dementia and they just had like I don't know, had a bit of a freak out or something, and that's when you get like the person killing and then they don't remember, or I don't know, if there's
Yeah.
no locking of the doors at night, if there are actual like members of that community or whatever. Like, yeah, look at the community members. I just feel like that
Mm.
it doesn't really fit. It doesn't suit in my
I mean, it
mind.
could still be, of course, that he's guilty and he did the murders. And I mean, it kind of sounds likely based on what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there are more details that we don't know that supported
Mm,
this, that he was guilty. But it just feels a little bit weak if this was the only
yes.
evidence. And now
Yeah.
he's sentenced to death and he's on death row just
Yeah.
based on
If I
this.
was, yeah. If I was on the jury, if there was a jury system, I would not have voted for death penalty. I would have at least voted for, conviction on the crime, but I wouldn't have definitely voted for, I wouldn't have had enough like evidence to actually vote for guilty for the death penalty. In this case, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
No,
It's not
not,
really
no,
beyond the reasonable doubt, I think.
no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, exactly. But I don't know how the system work in the sense that can you sentence someone for the crime and then be just like, but we are not 100% sure, so we won't give you the sentence you should actually get from this crime, but a lighter one. I just have a feeling that it doesn't work like that. Like either
Hmm.
you find them guilty and then you get the sentence that is for that crime, or you don't find them guilty because it's not beyond, what was the phrasing, beyond
The
no.
reasonable doubt. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, maybe it could have been like neglect or I don't know, something like that, like not murder
yeah, like causing of
or
death.
manslaughter.
I
That's what
just,
they
Yeah,
sometimes do.
yeah.
I just want to like know the layout of this facility because I'm just thinking there also could have been someone who scaled the walls. You know, I just feel like there's so many other instances where someone could have. I don't know what it looks like. Can you actually climb the
Yeah.
balconies and stuff? Like maybe someone was also trying to rob the elderly people and killed them or something because they got caught. But I just, yeah, I feel like it's a bit. I need
And
more.
like,
I need more proof.
especially because you said that there were how many other people who were tried at least for some other crimes?
3.
3 other people. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just, I
Yeah.
think, it's just so,
But I
oh,
do
I'm
assume that
not
because
completely convinced.
the serious crime unit started their investigation around summer, and then this guy had the hearing in winter. So I think during the autumn they have been like narrowing down possible
Mhm.
suspects. I would somehow assume that these
Yeah, yeah.
violent
Yeah.
staff members were suspects at some point, but
Yeah.
maybe they had alibi. Like I was
Mhm.
on the other part of Japan having my winter holiday during that time, or who knows.
I think we
But
have
if you like
kind of too little information.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. And I think like also we can just speculate for hours about this, but I just feel that the escalation from violence against an elderly person, like violence against a person who is vulnerable, like it's the same thing with children or a mentally disabled person or like, you know, or an elderly person. There's like this certain type of person who can do that, can cause harm to an elderly person. And then there's the type of person, okay, stealing money out of their wallet or whatever, right? I feel like those are two different types of
Mm,
people, and the person who is already being able to cause a bit of harm to an
mm,
elderly person is an easier step up to murder than
Mhm.
the person who's like, okay, I'm just stealing some money to get some extra cash because, well, it's shitty being a nurse sometimes, stealing money from them and
yeah,
hasn't had any violence, unless there was some cases
Yeah,
where he
maybe
was
there
actually
was.
violent. You don't know. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm just thinking if there was violence in his background or if there's more information on his like on his I don't know, character or behaviors in the past, then I would be like, okay, more apt to think, okay, he could do that in the future, or to an elderly person who is a vulnerable, that's a vulnerable group of people, and usually is the most fucked up, right up there with like child molesters in my mind to, mess with elderly people. So yeah, I, that's just my opinion. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's hope that they had more
yeah.
more
That
reasons than
mm,
just these
mm,
two things.
it might be because there's like people's private information, like the residents' information, that all of the details the prosecutor had is not available for media,
Mhm.
so we don't get
Yeah,
the
but I
whole
mean, sometimes
picture.
they at least report, but that there was also physical evidence of some sort, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
without actually revealing anything personal.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean,
but
I
I
didn't
really.
read the whole prosecutor's
Mm.
papers, but
Mm. But I think without the police, like in the defense's defense, like, or I would have like made a point if I was the defense that they didn't do a fucking investigation of the bodies.
yeah,
So there's no proof that my client that was actually there, there's no proof that there was fingerprints that, opened the door and, like any of this stuff. Like there's no more
Yeah.
data because they didn't actually do a fucking police investigation. So then
Mhm.
therefore that should be in favor of my client, you know?
Yeah.
I
Because, like,
just
of course, still, it's very unlikely that there are these 3 accidents in a row, like, within just 2
mm,
months. But because they didn't investigate the bodies, there was no, like, forensic
yeah,
investigation. Like, you can't rule it out that it was still an accident. Probably
yeah,
it wasn't, right? But still.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess they did some investigation, like is the balcony broken or not, and
Mm.
that type of thing already in the initial phase. Because if you investigate was this an accident? Of course, you will check that.
Yeah.
Was there something wrong with the balcony fence? But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's why I was thinking in the beginning, like, is it the same balcony? Is it just everyone's own, like, room, private rooms balcony, or
yeah.
like a different one for every case?
And
Or
I don't
yeah,
think
or they
even
could
if
even
you,
have a
yeah,
roommate.
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I think
okay.
even if you found his fingerprints there, it wouldn't prove anything because he's
No,
anyway
no.
No.
working there. Of course, his fingerprints would be there. But yeah, well, I think this was interesting case from several viewpoints. One is the if we just think that he actually did this and this was a murder by a nurse or by a medical professional to the patient, especially because I think in many countries there has been these kind of murders of elderly people, and also in Finland by the nurses, for example, the home helper nurses, and also in Japan there was this very horrible like mass killing of disabled nursing home who was also an ex staff of the place, but he was like it was more like a terrorist crime, like he was like I just want to kill all disabled people type of case. So it was very clear in the court, but somehow yeah, this phenomena of people murdering vulnerable people is kind of horrific.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then other point why I thought that this was kind of interesting story was the whole like how can you sentence someone to death sentence so easily?
Hmm.
How
Yeah,
can you be
exactly.
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, I guess I don't
No.
know if we should go into the whole
No.
issue of
Of death
do we
sentence,
support,
yeah.
it or not. Maybe we
Yeah.
shouldn't. But yeah, I mean, in this case, it really, based on what we know, it doesn't sound like it was, beyond the reasonable doubt, basically. I don't think it was.
No. Yeah. So thanks for
Like,
bumming me out, Petra.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, what do you expect in a true crime podcast? Like, really?
No, but at least like some justice, I like the cases where there's a bit of justice. Okay, well, we both kind of fucked that up. Like with my case,
You have a
Okay.
lot of cold
Victoria.
cases. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I shouldn't talk, because I'm, fucking with
Yeah.
everybody's emotions too. But when it happens to me, God damn it, Petra. Damn it.
Yeah.
But I really like the contrast but I mean, there is contrast with the cases in Finland and Japan because often with the Finnish cases, we're like, such a short sentence for such horrific murders.
True.
Why doesn't Finland punish them more? And then with Japan, we're like, okay, isn't
Too
that a
far,
bit
too
too
far.
much? Like, no. So,
Yeah, that's very true.
yeah, they're kind of. I mean, Japan is still not bad in the death sentence context if you compare to US. Like, they don't really actually. There's quite a small amount of people who get death sentences. Like, not even every year, someone is going to the actual death. What is it? What do you call when it's
Execution.
execution? Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Is
the
is
word.
that
Yeah.
what it's called? Okay, good.
But it also
Yeah.
depends on how they're being executed, if they're going to the chamber or the chair or I don't know. I guess
In
it's lethal
Japan, it's
injection.
always it's the hanging.
Hanging?
Yes,
Hanging. Ah,
hanging.
okay.
What?
Yep.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me.
Nope.
That whoa. And
Yeah,
whoa.
that one is not always successful, I think, for the first
Yeah,
try.
and I was gonna ask, is it the drop or like the strangulation method? Like is it drop from a high place where then their neck breaks? hopefully, or is it just they're strangling there for God knows how long, you know?
I think it's a drop, so that's like
Okay.
the
Yeah.
floor kind of opens like
Yeah.
under their feet. Because I saw this picture when the guy who did the Tokyo Saringas attacks, if you remember that case from 1995, the anyway, the crazy cult guy who was behind the terrorist attacks in Tokyo in 95.
Mhm.
He got death sentence, which I don't think anyone really disagrees with. But anyway, it still took like 20 years before it was actually he was executed. So yeah, then in the media there was just a picture like how it actually happens. Like he goes to this room and then this room and then here he is hanged, kind of. So yeah, that's why I vaguely remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising. Shit. Thanks for bringing that to my mind too. I'll be dreaming of hanging people, I'm sure. So
You
yeah.
gave me
Yeah.
some inspiration for my next case as well, but I'll
Oh dear.
think about it some more.
Yeah. Well, thanks for this, Petra. I guess
Yeah.
that's kind of it
I
for this
mean,
episode.
yes. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
These are not happy stories.
No,
Oh.
no. Or maybe we should have another podcast that's a happy
Yeah.
podcast only about happy things.
We should.
I guess it's me next, right? Yeah. My
Yes.
episode next. Yeah. So I was debating whether doing this or not, but we're gonna go to Belize for the next one.
Oh.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, it's gonna be quite historical. And even though I know our podcast is called Translation Murder, and in Belize, you know, their national language is English. So, but there's quite a lot of like, you know, Mayan language stuff going
Mhm.
on there. So I'll hopefully have some good pronunciation. I'll use a lot of IPA uh, tools to help me pronounce things properly. But
You mean the
yeah,
beer? Drink some beer before you
yes,
start
yes,
to pronounce it better.
yes, lots of yes, yes. That helps. Yeah, but yeah. So Belize. Yep,
Nice.
that's my hint, and it's ancient. So woo.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Looking forward
but
to that.
yeah, it'll be a bit lighter, maybe. I don't know. Depends on what you think, but and yeah, so you can continue listening to us if you enjoyed this episode on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, and you can follow us and search for us anywhere with Translation Murder. You can follow us on Instagram at Translation Murder Podcast, and you can write us an email at translationmurderpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, I don't know if I need to say this every single episode, but what's something they shouldn't send us, Petra?
Dick pics.
Yeah, don't do it.
Oh, we just have to.
And yeah. I think that's about it. So yeah, thanks for listening this week, and keep your eyes peeled for next week's hint and the translation, like terminology for this episode on Instagram, and yeah, see some nice photos and stuff. So yep, see you next week. Paralla.
Bye.
Bye.